Welcome to the Good Dudes Podcast with Aaron James and Logan Bean.
Where each week we're going to talk through the ins and outs of everyday life through a Christian perspective.
So let's do it.
Logan,
What is going on, man?
Episode 3, man.
It's here.
It's crazy. It's been very cool to see the number of people that have actually responded well to this.
Yeah.
I mean, I've gotten so many comments already about people enjoying it, people ready for the next one, and everybody has their own opinion about the top 5 list, which I think is great.
Yeah.
And that's true. I mean, everybody's got their own top 5 of everything. So
Yeah, I've gotten a lot of feedback on there. Like, you put that song on there, not this one? I'm just like, listen.
How come you didn't put these other 1,000 songs on the thing that
Why
is
didn't
my
you think
favorite?
Of this? Sorry,
Why do you not know about this absurd guy that only has one album and made it in 1982? How come you didnn't talk about him?
Yeah. I'm sorry, that was your
my
high
bad.
school prom
Yeah.
favorite song. My bad. Jeez.
I've gotten absolutely roasted thus far because I did the wrong version of Smokey and the Bandit song and then picked the Smokey and the Bandit as one of my top 5 movies. I'm like, okay,
You
thanks.
did the wrong song?
I did the wrong version. I didn't do the original version. I picked the Midland version.
Well.
But I like it better.
Yeah.
But Midland did it too. I don't know. It's very close. So I just think it's funny.
Yeah.
So today we are going to talk about criticism.
Ooh.
Criticism. Now, as kind of a preface for this, we do both work in a church. And we work in the worship ministry, which is very highly criticized a lot of the time.
Yes. Very.
But there are also other things I think in life, everyone has to deal with criticism, whether that be just at work or on social media or all kinds of stuff. So we're going to kind of get into that too. But yeah, those are the 2 main places I think of criticism. Where else do you think of criticism?
Man, in the workplace, and really anywhere. And I think a lot of it, as far as being a Christian, we're set apart, and we have, that light inside of us that makes us a little bit different. People see that, and a lot of the times they don't know how to react.
Yeah.
And so, whether it's jealousy or whether it's just because you do something in a different way that they do, they feel like they have to share their opinions just because it's different. And so it really could be anywhere.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think the same thing. There's so many people that, especially with Christianity, that may not understand kind of some of the things about it and understand why we do some of the things that we do, that it becomes criticism of us. Just because of lack of understanding, I think.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of criticism is, but so getting criticism regularly. I mean, I get it every day.
Yeah.
I mean, at least every day. I mean, for sure. Just, I, as an audio engineer, as a videographer, a photographer, lighting director, all that stuff, the sound is too loud, sound's too soft, lights are in my eyes, lights look like we're worshiping in hell. That's my all-time favorite as of right now. Yes, that is a real comment that I actually have, and I have the little card on my desk just as a reminder.
Explain why.
What people can do.
Explain where that
so
came from.
on our stage, if you want, you can go check out Eastside Baptist Church on Facebook or YouTube and see our stage. But we have kind of backlights on the back rock wall, and just for a little bit of movement, they were just kind of flickering, and they could have been perceived as flames. And I'm sure it's a stretch, but I understand. And someone wrote me a note that says, basically that I couldn't worship today, or I couldn't focus on worship because the lights in the back made it look like we were worshiping in hell. And I'm like, okay, first off, you're not going to be worshiping in hell.
No.
Sorry. You got some other stuff you got to worry
and
about.
how do you even know what that looks like? That's what you compared it to, of all things, is the exact opposite of what we're trying to do.
Yeah. And it's not like we're trying to bash these people, someone for saying that. Just trying to understand, why. Why would that be something that needs to be said? Because it doesn't. I mean, if you don't like the lights, and I get it, it is a more modern approach to worship and to things. It looks more like a concert at times, but ours is very low key.
Right.
It is not really
No, we ain't got
like
no
going all out.
we ain't got no smoke machines on Sundays or anything like that.
Even though we all know where the haze is, the praise is.
Yeah.
But
I've never heard that.
You never heard me say that?
Where the haze is, the praise is.
yeah, man, that's what Mike always used to say. He'd be like, "Where the haze is, the praise is." That's why he hangs out the room every day so much.
Man.
But yeah, like our services are. I mean, we're in a very like an older auditorium, an older style auditorium for sure. But we have modern lights, but we don't have like super modern lights.
Right.
Like we're not doing flashing lights or like anything like that. They literally were just like dimming and coming back on.
No,
you know,
there's
slow.
there's no risk of seizures or anything like that on Sunday mornings.
No. And no one's gonna have to be like coming up to us because they can't breathe because of the smoke.
Yeah.
That was another one I got one time in the youth building. We had a lady come up and she was saying that she couldn't breathe because of all the haze. And the haze is a water-based haze. Like it's not like you can have oil-based haze or water-based haze. Mm-hmm. Ours is water-based. So it's basically the same as if you boil water.
It's
essentially.
It's like steam pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah. That's essentially, I mean, it has a little bit more chemicals in it to like make it hold its thickness, but it's a water-based haze. So like you can sit there and breathe it in all day long and it just feels like you're breathing in steam.
And she said that
And she comes up and says, "I'm having trouble breathing."
It's the Rona.
Because of that. Yeah, the Rona. Therefore, we'll get canceled for that.
Did you tell her where the haze is, the praise is?
I did.
Well,
I told her, I was like, "I'm sorry, I've been here since noon. Had a pack of Camels, had to get out."
Good grief. Yeah. And especially getting criticism when, because we work in a church, it's hard because everything we do, we're not trying to, I don't know. We're trying to set, with lights and stuff like that. It's not for show, but it's for...
We're setting an atmosphere.
Exactly.
The whole thing that we do, I mean, we do, not bragging on ourselves, but our whole team does a great job of being very intentional with everything that we do, including lights and sound.
Yeah.
I mean, Travis Watson, who does our sound, like... He spends a lot of time on his own time researching how to do sound better.
Yeah.
So that it sounds better on a Sunday or on a Wednesday night.
Yeah. And because that's, that's our goal, is to create an atmosphere where people can just worship. And I know that people don't like the lights and stuff like that, but we're not trying to make it a certain kind of concert or anything like that. We just want it, to where you can feel comfortable, where you're not looking around at everybody, where you can see, where you can focus on, the goal.
And it draws you in, and that's what's made to draw you in.
Yeah.
We turn house lights down so that your main focus is on the band and on the worship, not on your neighbor next to you trying to open up their kids' breakfast that they are eating in service or whatever.
Right. Yeah. And it can be really discouraging because since that is our goal, and then we get criticism that says, looks like we're performing in hell.
Or like, I don't like that song, or, because that's another one that we get a lot is like song choice and song preference. And our pastor's been very good about like, hey, we're not having fights over that.
Yeah.
Like everything that we do, all the songs that we do are vetted. I mean, you and Matt don't pick songs that are not scripturally based. No. I mean, for sure. Yeah. They spend, like, you and Matt both spend a lot of time making sure that a song really truly sticks to the Bible and sticks to what we believe in before we sing it. Or we'll even change the lyric to make sure that it does.
Yeah. That makes me think of Where Were You in the World Stopped Turning. But anyways, yeah, we do. And especially if it's like a new song or something like that, we'll go through it and, we'll make sure that it lines up with scripture, and we'll put the verse on the screen if it's a new song or something like that. So that way they can tie in, okay, well, this is what it says in the word, and this like graves in the gardens, you hear that and you're like, okay, what is this about?
What does that actually mean?
And so, we try really hard to make sure everything lines up and we're worshiping God and not ourselves.
Yeah.
Because there is a lot of songs that's, we talk about Jesus, but it's me.
Yeah.
And we really try to be specific on, what we do on Sundays. And it's been good so far. It's not like we get hate on every single song or anything like that.
And I mean, normally like it's like one comment or two comments a week. I mean, it's really not, it's not like there's a ton of people flooding us with hatred or like just and sometimes they don't mean it out of hatred or anything like that. They're just trying to let you know what they think, and that's a hard thing sometimes too.
And it really sucks sometimes because I can, come down from the stage after a worship set and I can just be like amped up because, the Spirit was moving and everything like that. And I can have somebody come up to me and say something that's, some kind of criticism.
Yeah.
And it's just like, were you not worshiping?
Yeah.
It's hard as a leader when you know that somebody that's in the congregation isn't taking it for what it's for. And so it can just be discouraging.
Yeah, I mean, it can bring us down a lot. I mean, because I think the same way. Like, have somebody walk over in the middle of service and be like, "Hey, it sounds bad in here," and then I'm like, "You just missed out on all the worship because you were focused on how the sound sounded." Like now, I feel like I haven't done my job in creating that atmosphere that there are no distractions because you were distracted by whatever it was.
Yeah.
But then, at the same time, I could have somebody on the other side of the room saying it was too soft or it sounded great. So,
but you got to know where you're coming from and the reason, like we talked about earlier, our purpose behind it. And you got to know that even though you're going to get criticism, it's going to happen. But if your purpose is for the right reasons, then take everything with a grain of salt.
Same with our top 5 list. I mean, people criticize us because of what we picked as our top 5 list, but
and everybody has their own different.
Everybody's got their own idea of what everything should look like, sound like, be like. So
it's just part of it.
So what about outside of the church world? Like, where do you find criticism outside the church world?
Man, that's tough.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I haven't really thought about that.
Oh, okay. Well, so for me, I get so much of it, like doing my own photography and videography. I get so much criticism on everything. I mean, I could do send somebody, a whole photo shoot worth of photos, 150, 200 photos, and then be like, I don't like the style of it. And be like, okay. And have to go redo all 200 pictures, which takes a long time.
Yeah.
Or even that person loves them, but somebody else doesn't like them, Yeah. And I've been guilty of it too, of like my brother knows that they had pictures done and I am not a fan of how they turned out.
Yeah.
I just think the color's weird and, and I hate it because I make fun of him every time I'm over at his house. But at the same time, I'm like, I know somebody else is somewhere else doing it about mine.
Right.
And that's not like to make it even or anything. Yeah. But
it's just,
it's how it goes.
And I think the difference between us is, you have your own business and stuff like that to where your finished product is, I don't know, with video and pictures and everything like that. Like it's super creative and it's your own twist. And so the more you put into it and like the more you put your own twist on things and everything like that, the more out there you put yourself, the more different you're going to be from everybody else. And so, but that can't let you.
Yeah. And the more that I put it out there, I mean, pictures could make me money or they could lose me money based on one photo shoot.
Yeah.
Because that person could have a friend that doesn't like them and that person's not going to call me. Or they could have a friend that loves them and calls me. I mean, a lot of my business has been people seeing someone else's photo and then post them on Instagram or whatever, on Facebook. And then that friend calls me and is like, hey, I saw this person's photos. Well, now in my head, I know, okay, I'm going to edit them to look like this person's. Yeah. Like, I'm going to give you the same picture, but with your family instead of their family,
Yeah.
Which is hard too sometimes. Mm-hmm. And video is just 10 times worse because video is, I mean, you try and capture as much as you can. And then at the end of the day, there's just going to be some people that are like, I don't really like what they said. Can you take this out? Can you add this? And can you reshoot this part? Or I didn't like how I said that. Can you say it? Can you do the audio for it? Can you do this? I mean, it's just, a video project for me can take up to 2 or 3 months. Up as long. My longest one's been a 6-month project.
Are you serious?
From the time of them saying they wanted to do it to the time that the video was finished, it took me 6 months. Because of just scheduling and editing and
how often do you go back and reshoot things?
A lot.
Really?
Yeah, like that one I had to do 2 reshoots of different like segments, and it was like I'd be missing, you know, in the scheme of the full video, we're talking about a 2.5 minute long video, 3 minute video, we're talking 10 seconds, but that 10 seconds is really about 20 minutes worth of video to get that 10 seconds. And then that 20 minutes worth of video is really 2 hours for me just to shoot it, not even edit it. So it's like, it just grows and grows and grows.
Goodness,
all
man.
because somebody was like, I don't like how I said this one thing. And that's where it comes from. A lot of people is, you know, we've talked about this before, is like your hardest critic. And when people hear themselves on video for the first time, there are not many people that I know that like hearing themselves on video the first time.
No. Even going through listening to some of the edits, you know, from the previous weeks, I'm just like, oh no, I
wish I
don't
would've said
like
something
listening
different.
to
I know.
my voice. You
I know. It's hard, and you've got to almost get used to it. But for someone who only does one video a year, when they hear themselves talk, they're being very, very picky about every little thing, not just realizing that, oh, well, most people actually wouldn't hear that, you know.
Yeah.
Or pick up on it. It's like vocal tics, like mine. I just said like 3 times in less than 10 seconds.
I didn't notice it though.
And
I didn't
you may
notice
not
it.
notice, but I picked it up, and when I was watching back, I could hear it over and over and over again. And doing video, like if I'm doing an interview for somebody, and it's going to be a, let's say, 6-minute testimonial video, or them telling their story or whatever it is, I'm gonna spend 12, 13 hours on this video. So I hear them say it the first time. I hear them say it when I first go through and clip things out, and then I hear them say it probably another dozen times between putting all the pieces together and the final edit. So I'm really bad about finding people's vocal tics early on, and then having to tell them about it. Like, there's another podcast that we do that I produce for Eastside, and Pastor Chad, he likes to click his watch on the table.
Really?
And tap the table. And after 2 weeks of him doing it, I was like, dude, you have got to take your watch off. It bothers me. Because, you know, you listen to it and you just sit there and over and over and over again. You're like, oh, no, please stop. Yeah. Please stop.
I was hanging out with a friend last night, and we were watching, and we were watching Friends, and I've tried to watch Friends, and I'm sure I can really get into it because everybody loves it, but I'm a huge Office fan. Like, best show in the world is The Office.
Let us know down in the comments, Office or Friends. Which one's better?
And you will hurt my feelings if you don't choose The Office, by the way.
I'm definitely on Team Friends.
Well, you're colorblind, so.
At least I knew that, and you didn't.
Dude. You know how I found out about. Tell them how I found out about being.
So we did a
colorblind.
joke, which is one that we need to post that on this page.
Dad jokes.
We did a dad jokes video for Father's Day. Like, you've seen them on Facebook, you've seen them all over the place. They're hilarious. Yep. One of my favorite ones is Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg.
Yep.
Doing like jokes for their movie Daddy's Home or whatever. And so that's kind of the premise that we did it off of. And Logan over here tells a joke about...
Oh, what was it? I said... the
I said
I went to
came.
the doctor, and the doctor told me I was colorblind, and the diagnosis came completely out of the purple. Which...
Yeah, I should have said blue, but...
And I look at Aaron across the table, and he's just... Like, he's kind of smiling, but he's got this, like, look in his eyes just looking at me.
And I'm colorblind, and he didn't know.
Yeah.
And I was like, I thought he knew, because like I'm very vocal about it, because I think it's hilarious that I do video, I edit pictures, and I do the lights for our worship services, and I'm colorblind. I mean, and I think it's so funny.
Moses has a speech impediment.
There we go. But he says this joke, and I immediately caught on to what joke it was. Like, I knew the joke, and so I'm just waiting on it, because I was like, I'm gonna flip this on him, and then he's gonna laugh, and I'm gonna get the point.
and that's exactly what happened.
Exactly what happened.
He said, "You know I'm colorblind, right?" I was like, "Are you really?" He goes,
and that was one of the funniest jokes in the video, but no one could tell you what the original punchline was.
No.
everyone only knew that I flipped it on you. Like, it was funny.
Yeah, I definitely lost that. I was so confident going into that, man. And then, but once you're like,
it wasn't even close. Like,
and once you know that, like, if you get a point if you laugh, you're not supposed to laugh. That just makes it even worse.
yeah.
But it was a good time.
My favorite is still I asked my buddy to look at my pamphlet. I said, brochure. That's still one of my favorites.
Dude.
I love it.
Yeah, man.
So we get criticisms all the time. How do we act in the moment? Like, how do you act in the moment?
You know, I think anybody, when you get criticism, especially, you know, when it's stuff like something that you really put time into, you're automatically like, really, dude? Like, seriously? And you want to almost snap back, and you get your feelings hurt and stuff like that. But especially when it's like, if it's about me, then I can, you know, take it, and then I can think about it when I'm thinking straight with a clear head. And like I said earlier, if it's something that, you know, if it's something about worship or something about the song, I got to check myself and make sure that I'm in line before I can take somebody else's comments or criticisms, and then I can deal with it from there.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, a lot of times, like, there's a lot of times I almost can't help but laugh. Like, when somebody comes up to me on a Sunday morning or something and tells me that it's too loud, I just, like it happened last week. I had a guy come up to me with 2 minutes before the service started, which if you don't know, 2 minutes before the service starts, I'm thinking 90,000 miles an hour. Like, there are so many other things I'm worried about. I'm not listening to the sound. And so he comes up to me and wants to tell me how loud it is. And I'm just like, it's no louder than it has been the last 8 weeks. It's the same video. It's the same song.
Yeah.
I know for a fact that Travis has it on the exact same decibel every week. And so it's just like, there's times I can't help but laugh, you know. Somebody will comment on Facebook or something that, like, a picture looks bad, and I'm like, okay. And then I go look at their pictures, and it looks like somebody took them with their iPhone 4, and I'm like, oh, mine's bad? Like, look at yours. Like, you can't even...
Yeah, it's like, what? Yeah.
You're like, bad because somebody paid me to do them?
Like, do you just watch this stuff just so you can put your thought into it? Like, how much time have you spent to doing this stuff, you know? And
there is such a level of frustration with it, even if it's something so small and dumb, like somebody saying that your top 5 list isn't the right list or whatever. Like, you should have had these things on it. It's like, okay, whatever. Like, yeah, you can have everybody's entitled to their own opinion, and that's fine. But yeah, and then a lot of times, for me, in that moment, I try and get them to realize that what they're saying doesn't make sense. That's my favorite. Like, get them to explain what they're actually trying to say.
How so?
So, like, the guy with the sound last Sunday, I go, okay, where are you sitting? And he goes, oh, I'm sitting right here. And I go, okay, do you know what that thing is on the ceiling? And, like, less than 4 feet away is a fill speaker. We have them all around our room. And, I mean, he is directly underneath it.
Yeah.
And I go, do you know what that is? And he goes, no. And I go, okay, great. That's a speaker. And he goes, okay, what about it? I'm like, bro, you're 4 feet away from a speaker.
Let's put 2 and 2 together.
That's supposed to give sound for a 10-foot radius. And you were closer than halfway through that radius. It's gonna be a little louder. Yeah. And I try and give solutions like, hey, if you would move up 2 rows to get in front of that speaker, it will be a totally different experience. Well, I really like my seat. Well, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
There's nothing I can do because no one else is having a problem. So it's just you.
Yeah, like, what do they expect you to do? Just, okay, it's too loud. Okay, just let me turn it down for everybody else in the room.
Well, knowing this guy, he threatened to cut the cable.
What?
Just as a joke.
Oh.
He was joking. He knows me. He was just kind of, teasing me at that point. Once he realized that, like, oh, yeah, it makes sense. He goes, well, maybe one day I'll just sneak in here and cut the cable. And I go, well, for your sake, I hope when you do that, I hope the power's off. And he goes, wait, what do you mean? Why do you hope the power's off? And I go, brother, there's a, like, 300 amps running through that thing right now.
Fry you, man.
Like, you better hope you got on some rubber gloves or rubber boots or something, because I go, it's a lot of power.
Yeah.
Because all those things that run off one, and you introduce a new thing to that system, you were gonna meet Jesus really quick.
Yeah.
But people don't realize it. People don't get it. So that's funny.
Yeah, and it's hard to turn the other cheek sometimes.
Especially
really
in the
is.
moment. Yeah. Oh yeah. And I mean, and I do stuff behind the scenes. So like, there's a lot of stuff that I don't hear about until way later, and I'm like, oh, good, that happened 2 weeks ago, and now you didn't like it, or my favorite thing is like when my videos show. And then after they've been shown and people spend money on like airtime on TV or whatever to get them on, or they show at a banquet or something, I'll get an email a couple weeks later that somebody's like, oh, they said this line and this line I don't like, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, you're about a month and a half behind the ball game here.
Like, let me just jump back in time real quick and fix it.
Let me go make a refix on that so that everyone who's already seen this.
And you got to weigh it out. I mean, with stuff like that, like, is it worth, even letting it filter through my head?
Yeah.
And especially, if it's something that sucks to hear, a negative comment, even though you really want to say something right then, isn't going to do anything.
No.
It's not going to make it
just sits there and
worse.
rings in your ear over and over and over again.
If it's something that's just kind of petty, they're not really doing it just because they think they want to improve something. They're just doing it because they want to put their input on it. And so if you have a quick, witty, smart butt feedback, then it's just
going to get you in trouble.
Yeah. So, especially because you have your own, you do your own stuff, you have your own company and everything like that. You get criticism a lot. How do you process that once you get it? And like, what how do you decide what you take into consideration, what you let through?
I mean, a lot of the time for me, it's you've got to measure who it's coming from. I think that's a big part of it, because like, we all know certain people who are just going to complain about everything because they want to complain about something.
Yeah,
that's how it goes.
Yeah.
And to those people, I mean, if they say something, it's one of those grain of salts. Like the guy with the sound, I know he's going to complain about something. It's every week it's something. 2 weeks before he complained about sound, it was the text on the screen wasn't big enough. And I'm sorry, we literally have 16-foot LED walls. Every text on that screen, every letter was roughly a foot tall. Like,
what more do you want?
Let's be real here. And you're less than 50 feet away. It's okay.
Are you not entertained?
Are you not entertained? But a lot of times, like, you've got to also gauge who it's coming from. So if the person paying me for the project has a criticism about it, we're gonna fix it to make sure. I don't want whoever's getting the product to not enjoy it or not like it as much as they could. If it's someone like on the board or someone in the interview or something, well, then it kind of, weighs against. Then I've got to ask the person who's paying what they think. But a lot of the time, it's somebody in the video will be like, oh, I didn't like how I looked on this. And I'm like, I'm sorry, everyone else did. Because my thing, like, I've done a couple videos for like harder topics, like one of them being DHS workers. One of the girls in it didn't like the fact that I put in her crying in it. And I was like, have you ever seen an ASPCA commercial, In the Arms of an Angel? There is a reason that plays. Like, they make money because it makes people cry. When people are crying, when puppies are crying and you can tell that they're crying, it's going to make them money.
Yeah.
That's how it goes. That's part of it. And so, but if someone doesn't understand that and they think, oh, it's just a good commercial or whatever it may be, you're like, yeah, great, whatever you want, And so, I've told people before in interviews, I'm like, hey, tier sell. So this is a fundraiser video. So do what you got to do. I mean, I'm going to ask you some hard questions because I know, if I go into an interview knowing that I can make someone cry by asking me a question, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
Because it just invokes emotion.
Mm-hmm.
And that sounds terrible. Like, I want to make people cry at times, but I want to make people cry. I did a preschool wanted a video done for, they were going nut free because of allergies and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew that one of these moms, their kid had to have been rushed to the hospital because he was terribly allergic to peanuts as a toddler and was exposed. Like, the kid ate like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, like a lot, like an absurd amount that like shouldn't have happened, just a weird oversight or whatever.
Uh-oh.
But I knew that mom was one of the ones I was interviewing. And I had seen her that day, and she was just, in tears because, I mean, her child couldn't breathe. Like, literally for like almost 30 minutes, couldn't breathe.
Oof.
And so I asked her, I go, so tell me a little bit about that day and just Instant Waterworks. And like, you feel bad.
Instigator.
But
it's, yeah.
There were people later that were like, I saw come up to her and came up to me and were like, because this lady's emotion and what this lady thought and what she said, people stopped sending the peanut butter with their kids and then changed to the other alternative stuff.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it
made such a huge difference.
It shows the reality of it too. It shows in the importance.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're doing your job.
Yeah. Because, somebody's sending home a piece of paper that says, oh, hey, please don't send peanut butter with your kid because it's going to make someone else, have an allergic reaction.
And half the time it doesn't even make it home. Yeah.
If you don't have that kid with the allergic reaction, you would never know. But if you see a mom crying because her toddler almost died, it's going to make you stop sending peanut butter. And it did. I mean, instantly. There were no questions, because I talked to the director. There were no questions about it, no concerns. It never happened again after that video showed.
Yeah, I mean, you have one
crazy.
You're hired to do one purpose, and you're going to do what it takes, to do your job to the best that you can.
For sure. But yeah, you've got to know the audience. And then also, like, you have to know where people give you that feedback from. So if somebody wants to come at me in a public place, and if they're doing it for show, then I have honestly no problem destroying you in a comment. Because if you're coming at me about something that I do, I know a little bit more than you. 99% of the time. Mm-hmm. If we're talking about sound, I can throw the book at you on what sound is and is not. And if someone comes at me because, they want to make a public spectacle of it, I'm perfectly fine.
Yeah, let's make this thing public.
But if somebody just comes up to me and they're like, in the moment, like, if it's 2 minutes before service and somebody comes to me with a problem, I'm not dealing with it right then. Mm-hmm. If you want to come have a conversation with me during the week, I got plenty of time. Well, I can make some time.
Lunch breaks.
I have a lunch break that we can go have lunch, and I'd be more than happy to buy you lunch and talk to you about sound.
Yeah.
And talk to you about where you sit and what would be a better option for you, and try and help you out and get over that.
Yeah.
But during service, as it's fixing to happen, I don't have the mental capacity to like fix the problem immediately.
Yeah.
If somebody has a problem with like a picture that I post, or their family's pictures or somebody else's family's pictures, I don't want to have. I'm not going to have that conversation on Facebook. Yeah. I'm not. Mm-mm. I do not like that. That is not the place.
Oh, no.
If you want to call me out for something, I'm more than happy. Call me out. That's fine. I will not respond at all.
Yeah.
If you call me personally, we'll have a conversation about it.
Yeah.
If you make an effort to like fix it, let's have a conversation about it. But like my goal is that my clients enjoy what the product that they get. That's the goal. Mm-hmm. Now, if my client doesn't, I would hope that they would be able to tell me, and I'd love to fix it. And I try and make sure that everybody knows, hey, I understand you're paying for me. If it takes me more time to make sure that you're happy with what you're getting, I'm all for it. I really, really am. I don't want you to post it or not post something that you paid for because it's not exactly what you wanted. I want it to be exactly what you want, which gets me more business.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had people choose me over other photographers because I'm willing to go that extra step and be like, you tell me what you want, and if it's not exactly right, we'll fix it.
Yeah.
Done. No questions asked.
You can't you can't be like, oh well, I do it my way, and so
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep it like this because
Well, now
that's the. I mean,
that's the odd thing in like photographer world too. Is some people have a style. This is my style of picture, and this is all I'm gonna do, and they're very good at it. And you go to those people if that's the style that you want. I'm not like that. I'm more of like a, hey, you send me somebody else's family photo that you like, and I'll redo that.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be whatever.
And it's about the experience too. I mean,
Yeah.
if they feel comfortable enough to come to you and be like, hey, you know, I was thinking this, what do you think about this? And you're like, oh yeah, absolutely, you know, whatever, other than, no, that's not going to work. No.
Yeah.
Then they're going to, you know, it's about the experience.
Yeah, I feel like I will bend over backwards for a lot of things. And so if I have to tell somebody no, there is a big reason. It's not like I just don't want to do it that day. There is a big reason why, or a big red flag. But yeah, I'm not going to have those conversations on Facebook.
No.
That's not the place for it. And honestly, I'm not. Email is one of those funky things. Email's about half and half. Depending on how, well, I guess anywhere. Depending on how you present it, I could respond or I could not respond. Because there have been plenty of times where I've got an email from somebody that is just like, this is terrible, this is terrible, this is terrible. And there's like no, hey, I understand that we work through these things. Can you look at it? No, it's just fix it. And I'm not responding.
Yeah.
I've not responded to a lot of emails because of that. Because I'm like, at least give me the benefit of the doubt that I somewhat know what I'm doing. Like somewhat. Not the fact that you think that I'm some young,
Yeah. Hey, will you do this for me? You're not doing anything.
kid.
Can you grab this camera and take pictures for me?
Yeah. Or, oh, you left the sound was way too loud. We couldn't hear it while we were praying in our prayer meeting, that really we weren't supposed to be in that building anyways, but we were, and that's where we moved it to. And even though you didn't know that we were supposed to be there, you should have had the sound low enough to where we could have done what we wanted to do. No, sorry. It's so hard because it's hard to have grace in that moment.
Oh yeah.
Because it's hard to be like, you're getting mad at me because you did something wrong. Like, really?
Yeah. Are we just playing the blame game
Yeah.
here?
I mean, but yeah. So how people approach it will drastically change
Yeah.
how I respond.
And it, you know, because everybody's got their own thoughts and stuff, and it because I've been approached in different ways like that, it makes me think about how I approach other people.
Yeah.
And you know, even the smallest stuff that you can say, people take it like to heart and they really think about it. And so
I just had a really weird thought.
What's that?
So you said everybody has their own thoughts.
Uh-huh.
And it took me back to a comedian has a joke. He's like, he talks about his family's on vacation. They're sitting down at breakfast, and his daughter walks in and goes, "Some weird dreams last night, huh, big boy?" And he was like, I looked around and he goes, "I had a weird dream about my kid last night. And this kid's talking about having a weird dream about me last night." And he was like, he goes, "Did she break the matrix or something? Like, did she figure something out?" And he goes, he said like his wife said some remark about like trying to acknowledge the fact that we don't all have the same dreams, but like the little girl knew way too much about what he had also dreamed about.
Yeah.
And his wife was like, "What are we doing here?" I'm like, "We are not doing this." But like when you said people have their own thoughts, I was like, wait, what if we don't? There's a lot of times we don't, but
Yeah.
that's funny. So yeah, dealing with people, it's hard. I mean, you got to take it on an individual basis, but yeah.
And it's one thing if it, you know, say it's a hard criticism and it's just about me, then, you know, a lot of times you can just move past it. But if it's a team that I'm working with, like my worship band on Sunday mornings or something like that, and they're pointing people out, as a leader, you kind of have to step up and stand up for your
Oh, for
own
sure. Because, I
people.
mean, you know, on a Sunday morning, like, I mainly run our live stream. Like, I don't do much of our tech stuff. So if something happens with lyrics not progressing right or the lights not being right or something, like, that's my people. And, you know, I definitely will play mother bear and
Yeah.
like step in
Mama
between
goose.
that and like be like, hey, listen, it's not as easy. And I've told people before when they've had problems with like how the lyrics advance or whatever, I've been like, okay, awesome. When would you like to sign up to come run them? And watch them go, well, I don't think I could do that. And I go, oh, so it's harder than you think it is.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know. I have no idea. Okay, awesome. Come find out.
Yeah.
And I've had a couple of people do it. Like come on a Wednesday night and just see what it takes to do it, and then be like, I'm very sorry that I made a comment.
Yeah.
Because I didn't understand what it actually took.
Yeah.
And now that I do, I won't make that comment again.
It really puts it in perspective.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. That's what I was saying earlier is like, if you're doing stuff and you get criticism, it puts it in a different, when you think about everything else, you know.
Yeah.
Whether you would do it a different way or not, you're
Sure.
like, okay, well, I know the work that's put into this,
Yeah.
and I'm sure that this is what they're trying to do, and so
Yeah.
and you can respect everybody else's stuff a lot more as well.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. So dealing with criticism is hard, and no matter what walk of life you're in, I mean, we've come today from a lot of like church perspective and things because we're both in very highly visible roles in that. But I'm sure that's the same as like for someone in the office, you know, if you're, I'm a teacher at heart, right? And so there's a lot of criticism in teachers. I mean, you taught the right thing, you didn't teach the right thing, you didn't stop this, you did this, whatever. I mean, it's a lot. And especially as a music teacher too, I mean, there's a lot of stuff. My kid didn't get this chair and someone, you know, come complain to you about it, or,
Yeah.
you know, my kid got this grade on a test. And so there's a lot of that too. Or, I mean, any job, I mean, heck, Starbucks. I mean, those people get criticized all the time.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you messed up my drink order. I get the same drink order every day. You make it every day. How
When
come
you
you
got
can't get it
20
right?
things that you're
and
putting
there's
into
30
one drink.
people. There's a line around the building.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're trying. This one person's complaining because you didn't put in enough sugar for them. Like, yeah. Sorry. Go somewhere else. You know, but yeah, it's hard. So we're now time to, I think, my favorite part of the series, top 5
Top
lists.
5s, yeah, man.
And so we need to get better at like looking, because I totally forgot to look at who like won last week, or if anybody
Yeah.
won or whoever. We need to start getting better at that. But in case you didn't know, like we are filming these a little bit ahead. Like we try and be like a week or so ahead, and so we may actually not even know who won or who didn't win.
Yeah.
But that's on social media. You can go look there
Yep.
and figure it out. So
And if you got any suggestions on a top 5 list that you want to hear us talk about,
yeah,
let us
I
know.
mean, if you think that we missed the wrong movie or we missed the wrong song and there is something that we definitely should have had on a list, make sure you put in a comment somewhere, send us a message, and we would love to throw that out there, and maybe we'll make it like a revision sometime. And, you know, because I mean, the top 5 list, we could do anything. And if there's a top 5 list you want us to do,
yeah,
let us know.
Yeah.
Like if you want to hear what we think the best donut shop is, or what you think the best coffee, or, you know, best place to go fish, or whatever it may be.
What are your top 5 favorite colors?
I'm colorblind.
Oh, see,
I only see 5, 6.
you only see 6?
No, I'm joking.
Oh,
That's not what that means. Technically, hey, let's be PC here. It's color deficiency.
I'm sorry if I offended you.
Yeah, I'm very offended. Yeah, for sure.
Sorry about the criticism.
Yeah. So today's 5 list, Logan, you picked it out and you intro it.
Top 5 dream vacations. And it doesn't have to be like vacation resort. It can be like something that you want to go do that's just kind of out there that you've always
You gotta
wanted
take time
to do.
on. You gotta take
Yeah.
vacation for, right? Okay. Are you gonna kick it off, or you want me to?
I'll go first.
Go first.
So there's a place, and I'm not sure exactly where it's at. I just know that I've seen
Off to a
pictures
great
of it.
start here.
But it's I seen it, and it's
I seen.
it. There's a dome, and it's like a glass dome, but you can camp underneath the Northern Lights.
Oh, okay.
And the Northern Lights, like stars, everything like
Yeah.
that, you know, it's super awesome. Like, I'm super into it. And I want to see the Northern Lights, and I love camping. And so that just would be so cool to just like lay there and just watch all these lights. So that's my number 1.
So specifically in a glass dome somewhere to see the Northern Lights.
I mean, no, but the picture I saw of it looked really cool.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I-
But
no,
that's your choice
yeah.
is a glass dome.
Is that
like that's your
okay?
place to go? Like I'm just, is there like a specific place to see them? Like, do you have to be somewhere like Canada or Alaska or whatever?
I don't know. Maybe
Okay.
Antarctica,
Okay.
Africa. I don't know.
Okay.
Wherever the Northern Lights are,
All
just
right.
take me there and give me a
Okay.
glass dome.
Give them a glass dome and
That's
let them
I'm
land
simple.
there.
That's simple.
I mean, why not just like go lay out under the stars?
Well, because I'm sure it's cold wherever it's at.
Oh, well, yeah, that's very true. You get cold easy. So.
Give me a heater and a glass dome, and I'm set.
Okay. Okay, so my first one is something that I really, really want to do. And I want to go to Utah and go elk hunting. Is that one of yours?
Yeah, that's my next,
Yes!
that's my next one.
Yes! We haven't had many steals.
Good Dudes
and so-
Podcast goes to Utah.
Yeah. Oh, dude, how awesome would that be?
Gosh, that'd be so sick.
That would be so cool to do. Like, if we could draw tags, that'd be awesome. That'd be really
So
cool.
send us money and
Yeah, if you want, in the link
My
below
Cash App is
my Cash App. That would be hilarious.
yeah. No, that was my number 2 is elk hunting.
If you know somebody that wants to send us to elk hunting, but somewhere specifically,
Yeah. Well,
or you just said elk hunting.
I think it's my sister lives in Montana, and she sent me
yeah.
a Snapchat the other day, and she was elk hunting, and it was just the view itself was amazing. She was
Yeah.
like, she's like, you can smell the elk. It's different
Oh,
than
yeah.
deer hunting, and like when you hear one like in person in the wild, like it's
They're
just like it takes your
crazy.
breath away.
Have you ever seen them in Arkansas?
I've seen them, but I haven't like
Yeah.
seen them. It's just been driving or something.
We've
like that.
been up to, what's the lake or the river? Buffalo River.
yeah.
You go up there in the valleys and stuff, and there's Roosevelt elk, and it's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
We've had them like jump the road in front of our car,
Oh,
you know, where there's like 100 at a time, and they're just like, oh my gosh,
You don't wanna hit that thing.
They're huge. You know, you see them out in the field, so it's awesome.
Yeah.
Like it's super cool.
Yeah. So that's my number 2.
So I think we're very similar this week because my number 2 is going to be Alaska.
Okay.
I want to go to Alaska. But part of it's to see the Northern Lights, but part of it I just want to go to Alaska and like I want to be there when it doesn't get dark, you know, or
Yeah.
it's only dark for a couple hours a day.
Oh yeah, that'd be awesome. Josh is going to Alaska.
Yeah.
He's either there now or he's going pretty soon.
He should be going this week and he's fishing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That'd
Yeah.
be cool. I don't know that I really want to be out in the water. I don't know that sounds like a great plan.
Ice fishing is always. I'm just like, oh, you dig a hole in the ice and you don't fall through, which I mean, I guess people do it.
They're like
and
running
it's safe.
chainsaws to cut holes in the ice. I
Exactly.
mean, that's a little much for me.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. But I'd love to go do like a bear hunt or something in Alaska. Like
Oh,
that'd
yeah.
be super cool. Or even just go and go for like do like a river float or something. I think it'd be super
yeah.
cool. All right, what's next for you?
Man, there's just. I was looking, and New Zealand just has some crazy.
Are you for real right now?
Yeah, I'm serious.
Okay.
The
Keep
scenery
going.
there and like the way that their cities look and stuff like that, their streets and everything, man, it's just awesome. And I don't know. I just want to be there and be part of it. It would be awesome just to be there for a little bit.
That's literally my number 4 is New Zealand to go hunting
Oh, okay.
because it's insane. That's yeah, that's good. I'm gonna have to change mine now, but like
Well.
that was one that I wanted to because I've seen a bunch of videos of people hunting up there. Like you go hunt like mountain goats and things like that, and it is insane. But like they're overrun, so I mean, like almost anybody, if you can get over there, you can go do it pretty much. Like it's pretty easy to get tags and stuff for. But
We'll go there after we go elk hunting then.
yeah, oh yeah, let's go to Utah and then New Zealand because those are very close in price. Yeah. So no, my third is I want to go to Norway.
Okay.
I want to go see the beach, or sorry, not Norway, Normandy. Normandy. I want to go see the beaches of Normandy and like see where D-Day happened and
Okay.
like the whole 9 yards and like go through all the exhibits and like follow the like the World War II trail and everything and like just go see that stuff. Back when, you know, men were men, they dropped the gates on these shores, like most of them knowing they were going to die and like, yeah, I want to go see that.
Be on the beach where it actually happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be super cool.
awesome.
Yeah.
Number 4 is I don't care where, but I just want to go deep sea fishing, man. Like I want to go
Yeah.
way out there where I can't see land and just throw some kind of bait out there and just see what grabs it.
Yeah.
Dude.
That'd be cool.
I wanna catch,
tuna.
like, a
I've always
monster,
wanted to do
like-
like tuna. Like we
Yeah.
have to reel for like 2 hours at a time.
Yeah. Yeah. I want somebody to like have to hold me back so I'm not falling into the ocean.
Okay, so I guess my number 4 is I want to go to Sturgis, South Dakota. I want to go for the Sturgis bike rally.
He's a
Like,
big biker guy.
I've become a big biker guy, and
I'm jealous.
yeah, we're trying to get Logan into it, but yeah, there's like a million bikes. There's all kinds of people. But go, even if it's not during like the Sturgis rally, go up there and do some of the drives. Like go see Mount Rushmore and like all that kind of thing, and all the cool drives where you drive through rock cliffs. And I'd love to do that.
Yeah.
On a bike or in a car, either way, I'm cool.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure like riding a bike's cool, but if you're just like with a huge group of people riding bikes, I'm sure you feel like you're on top of the world.
Oh, I know. Yeah. Everybody looks just like you and just
Yeah.
big, manly, burly men
Yeah.
on motorcycles.
Yeah.
Going to like see Mount Rushmore, like that'd just be so cool. Like going through the mountains and there's like
Gosh.
150 bikes. Like, oh, that'd be cool.
My dad and he had a group of friends when he was my age, and they had motorcycles, and they just went like across the United States and just camped and everything like that. And
Everything was such a different time.
I know.
My dad talks about doing stuff like random stuff like that all the time. And I'm always like,
Yeah. Like
I can't even fathom doing that anymore because everything's either so expensive or like we don't have access to the same stuff or like it's so much more difficult. And
Yeah. My dad just he found out about this job in Mexico where he, on a horseback, just gave guides and tours. And he did that for a little bit. I'm just like, what? You just went down to
you just
Mexico and
randomly
worked?
left and yeah.
And yes.
All the time, crazy stuff. My dad talking about being in high school and having guns in his truck and going squirrel hunting during lunch. Like,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
thanks. I'd love to be doing that.
Yeah,
Like
he
that
said
would
he'd
be
have
awesome.
his rifle just hanging up in his
Yeah.
back glass right there.
And no one thought twice about
No,
it.
it was normal.
Yeah, yeah.
But anyways, well, my number 5
Yep.
is Rome.
Rome.
Yeah, I think it would just be cool to see like all the Colosseums and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
One of my friends, Chris Brown,
Yep.
he's gone, I think more than once.
Oh, wow.
And he's shown me just like some of the pictures and stuff like that, and it's incredible. And you see like stuff like that on movies, and you're like, oh yeah, that's cool. But to know that that stuff like actually happened and that's part
Yeah.
of history, just to be there
Yeah.
and to witness it, I think it would just be awesome.
Yeah. So I guess my number 5, it was just going to be like an honorable mention, but I guess it got bumped up since you stole my New Zealand.
Sorry, dude.
I'm going to have to say Jerusalem.
Oh,
Like I've always wanted to go do a Holy Land tour.
dude.
I think that'd be so cool. Like I want to go walk where Jesus walked. I want to go see the things that they would have seen. And
That would be so awesome.
I know it's so different now, but still there's so much of it that's the same. There's so much of it that's still around, all the ruins and things like that. You can actually go physically see.
I'd like to go see the Dead Sea and stuff like that.
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
Gosh.
yeah. That'd be awesome.
Well, wish that was on my list.
Sorry.
You're so smart.
You stole my New Zealand, so
Oh, well.
you stole my dream
Hey,
hunt
you
in
stole
New
my
Zealand.
elk hunting. Well,
Man,
I
I
don't
get
know.
specific. You just said elk hunt. That's all good. Well, cool. Well, another fun one.
another fun one, man.
Next week we're going to talk about some man stuff.
Some man stuff, some manly stories.
Man stuff.
and Man stuff.
Talk about like tool time.
Cow tipping.
Cow tipping. Cow tipping. Yeah, get the right voice for it. All right, well, cool, man. Till next time.
Until next
Sound
time.
good?
Yeah, man.
See ya.
Good stuff.
Thanks for listening to the Good Dudes Podcast.
To stay up to date with everything going on, follow us on all social media platforms at The Good Dudes Podcast. And we'll see you in the next one.